Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Friday, February the 2nd. The year's 2024. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap-up and NFP Day. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Yes, I missed yesterday's video. I had a super busy schedule yesterday, and actually it's been kind of busy, and I wasn't up in time to get on the computer, make a video, and then go out to my meetings and appointments. So we missed yesterday, which was the monthly open, and which we you can see here the monthly open was at 126.79, and we're below that. So far this month we went above into the upper wick zone of the previous month, and now we're in the lower wick zone of the previous month. And you can see here we are 147 pips off of the monthly high and 160 off the yearly high. So we're pushing down. And according to the seasonality indicator, says the pound typically forms a bottom in early to late March and then moves higher into the end of April. So looks like we're going to maybe find that bottom, just like they say they do. Let's see. We kind of skipped over here the weekly. We've got one gap that hasn't filled. Once again, looking at the monthly. As I mentioned before, we're in that lower wick zone. And last month was an inside bar. So if it breaks that low, previous low, and look forward to maybe really take off to the bottom, making a new low for the year. You can see we've got that yearly range right here, which was huge, first day of the month, and you can see here we've already broke out of that opening range for the year. We broke out of the opening range for the month on both sides already. So notice we actually had two outside bars in a row here so far in February. And if you look here, we're still within that inside range, opening range for the year, which I guess they haven't decided which way they want to take the currency. Range bound, and you know, these range bounds here, if you just played that high and low off of that opening range, I mean, now let's see, we've gone coast to coast once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, almost 6 times, and that coast to coast run was worth about 120 pips. So was that 6 times 1? That's 720 pips possible just taking that coast to coast run. Of course, you'd have to quote unquote guess correctly, but if you're up here, you look the short. If you're down here, you look the long, and sooner or later you might have a loser. But until then, right as I said, right now you might be up 720 pips or so. That's not too bad, especially if you're a swing trader, because see here, 1, 2, 3, that's 4 days, and then here you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and then here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 days. And of course, if you put a trade on here and it goes all the way down here, you can always take some off, or take it all off and just bank the profit and see what happens next. It just depends on how you want to trade. And you can see we've got that inside bar from the week, day, and month all showing up here. So once again, inside bar, usually you take the breakout. So on the daily, definitely these breakouts look like really great breakouts, but on the weekly, not so much. Range today. Well, we got a lot of pairs over 100. It looks like more pairs than not. 4, 7, 11, 14 pairs. Oh, maybe it's about the same. Let's see, we got 5, 9, 11, 14. Yeah, we got 28 pairs. So half the pairs are over 100. The Swiss franc yen's knocking on the door with 99. But notice something. The big one is the dollar yen. 234 pips today. And, you know, over the years, people have given me a lot of hard time about, you know, some of these methods like the buy zone. In fact, somebody asked me, what's the best method to trade? I go, well, it depends on the instrument. Buy zone, if I'm trading stocks, I would definitely use this, but the equity market. But if I'm trading foreign exchange, I think I'd use the wick zone because it is quite profitable trading out of the wick zone, because we know price doesn't like staying in the wick zone, just like price doesn't like staying in the buy zone. But you can see here, it's kind of choppy. The difference with the wick zone is the wick zone almost always contains the buy zone, because the daily open is going to be right around the previous day's close. So between either that and the upper wick or lower wick, it's going to encompass some of that, some of the buy zone. It's just the way it is. So you could almost combine the methods, because if I'm not mistaken, if you look here, you can switch this over time frames to daily. So you can see right here, you know, the buy zone was there. So hey, guess what? Came out, went up, back through the buy zone. But you can see here, that's the wick zone. So in fact, you get a trigger right here at the open, as opposed to the open minus 8 or 10. So that's just something you can keep in mind. And put that back to M30. But you can see here we crossed the daily open, crossed the weekly open, you know, crossed the 127 psychological, crossed the 125 psychological, crossed the 127.50. Let's see, yeah, 127.25, 127.50, 127.25. Let's see, 127. Did we get to the 75? I don't think we did quite get there. 71. Yeah, we did. No, 69. So we didn't quite get to the 75 psychological. But you can see here, once again, just simple horizontal line trades, trading with candle color. What could be simpler, right? Rat zone, green rats, prepare, red rats. At the time, there wasn't enough range, but now 158 pips, plenty of range. Pivot, oh, Bambino Flex said long, near pivot, long, wrong. So once again, these things aren't 100%. These videos are for educational purposes, but usually the pivot trading plan will give you opportunities. In this case, everything was telling you to go the wrong way, and that happens. Okay, H4 pivot. You see we've got this missed pivot down here that didn't get taken out. We've got a missed pivot here and here that will probably get taken out sometime, maybe next week. Doubtfully today. On the daily, got a couple of open pivots. You can see so far no missed pivots in 2024. Still got a bunch left though from 2022 and 2023. On the weekly, a couple of pivots still missed from last year, here and here. We'll see if we take those out. Monthly, and we've got a couple of monthly pivots that need to be taken out from last year. And we'll just have to wait and see if and when they get taken out. As I mentioned earlier, the wick zone, you can see here in and out of the top, in and out of the bottom. Now we're coming back in. And you know, when price goes coast to coast like this, you know, if you took this short here, you can't be too greedy, because how much further down do you think it's going to move with the range? Once again, it's use your candle colors and go with the flow. This week, 158 pips, better than last week by what, 32 pips in the 41 percentile. Nothing to write home about, but we did get the breakout of the previous week's low. That we didn't break out at a high, but we got 35 pips out of that previous week's low. You know, sometimes if you really, you know, can't sit in front of your computer, you could put a whole bunch of pending trades on at the beginning of the week or beginning of the month and just leave them sit, and then, you know, put a small trigger on them, or maybe put an alert when they do trigger, and then you can sit there and actively manage the trade. But you should probably be able to pick up somewhere between 2 and 10 pips on these types of trades. In some cases, even more. So, as far as the rats, high minus close 140, close minus low 19 at the moment. And for you buy zone traders, high minus open 76, open minus low 83. Once again, pips to be had. And we had mentioned those psychological, and it was just, you know, once again, candle color at the first line you encounter, and then you just see what kind of profit you get. And you can see indicator 2 is just now turning blue. So if you rode indicator 2 off of M30, you got the Magilla trade. That was worth 125 pips. Highest low, lowest high, you can see right here at the 31 level, 26.31. We just put in a highest low 1 bar ago. Now let's see, where is the lowest high triggered here at 26.23 a few minutes ago. And that's good for about 8 pips at the moment. Let's take a quick look here. January, only 189 pips. Oh, wow. That's really, that's a new record here for the past 20 years, or the lowest. That's showing the range by month ATR percent. Only 43. Nothing. Let's see. We have a 50. So once again, pretty weak. I don't know, looking at this chart, do we have anything even less than 43? A quick scan. Oh, wait a minute. This is, I wonder if that's a mistake. 2 pips? That looks like a data error. Only 2% of ATR? Wow. I might have to check the data from that month and year, because that doesn't look right at all. But fellow traders, you know what? The fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about over. So I really wish you had a profitable month of January, and I wish you a profitable month in February. And I'm going to wish you a fun and safe weekend as always. Always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.